Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we will study comparative method, but before that, as we have already started a series, we will continue with diversity and variation in Indian context. As we know, India being a multicultural democratic country, it exhibits a very diverse population, having cultural and social differences. Anthropologists from the very beginning took immense interest in studying these diverse cultures and society. Anthropologists from outside or inside India have taken up studies among various tribal people of India, starting from northeast India to the south. Some early anthropologists, S.C. Roy, M.N. Srinivas, have also written many monographs on these tribal people, depicting various diverse ways of life. Village study in India have also revealed many diverse cultural aspects as well. Ideologies like tribe caste continuum, sacred complex, little and great tradition have also appeared. We will understand about this tradition in details in my another video. So, various social institutions like marriage, kinship, and politics have also been studied in those villages. These institutions showcase the diverse nature of Indian culture. If we took up an example of Meghalaya, the Khasi practices matrilineal system of marriage. So, in South India, Todas also have a peculiar kind of marriage system. Apart from this, caste system in India is also unique. This caste follows special form of relationship with each other. Sometimes even among Hindus, which is a single religion, practice of different forms of rituals are seen. On the other hand, the tribal people of this caste group also share a special kind of relation. Sometimes it is of separation, sometimes it is of cooperation. Thus, various dimensions can be found in India itself, and anthropologists through the years have been exploring all this and more. Comparative method in anthropological studies explores various dimensions related to this method like history and its relevance. Anthropology conducts comparative study of culture and population as well. It has been one of the most ancient and popular method of anthropological investigation. In fact, anthropological research started with these dimensions only. Anthropologists study man in totality. Social anthropologists try to find out what is common to all society and at the same time what is different to all societies. For the social anthropologist need to carry out a comparative study of the societies. To gather full understanding of a society, it is necessary to examine the same in the context of another. They try to compare two cultures or rather two population. So for the anthropologist, it becomes important to conduct comparative studies of societies and populations. In a social anthropological comparative study, there are many levels of comparison. Firstly, a social anthropologist compares a single society with other societies. Second, he compares one or two institutions of other societies. And third, he compares the institution within a single society. The history of the use of comparison as a method goes back to the 19th century itself. During this period, the theory of evolution was in great practice. The exponents of the comparative method in British social anthropologies were Emily Durkheim and Sir Edward Evans Pritchard has the following objectives of this method. First, it is through this method social anthropologists reconstruct the past and discover the laws that governs the social process. Comparison of particular features of social life for the purpose of historical reconstruction has a great value. Second, it is through this that we make classification of the social systems in different categories such as caste, class and groups. Comparative method is deployed for discovering the social process and to classify the social systems of all these studies of the world as well. Comparative method has more than 100 years of history in social anthropology. Durkheim used it first as a reliable method of data generation. In his classical work, The Rules of Sociological Method, 1895, for the first time, Emily Durkheim explained the significance of comparative method. In the 19th century, the principal attraction of the comparative method lay in the belief that it could be used for discovering scientific laws about human society and culture. French Boas contested the arguments of Durkheim by studying that the latter had made only sweeping generalization using comparative method. After Durkheim, Alfred Rignald Radcliffe Brown pleaded the usefulness of the comparative method. In his Huxley Memorial Lecture in 1955, he argued that the comparative method was highly useful in social anthropology for reconstructing human social history. At a later period of time, Evans Pritchard took up the theme of comparative method in his Hobhouse lecture in 1963. He argued that despite of all its scientific pretensions, the comparative method as used by Radcliffe Brown and many others were little more than the illustrative method. In the 19th century and the mid 20th century, there were different attitudes of social anthropologists towards the use of comparison. Comparative method also faced many criticisms. In India, too many anthropologists use this method. Anthropologists in India have conducted many intercultural and cross-cultural comparisons. Few names that may be mentioned are of Dhirendranath Majumdar, Nirmal Kumar Bose and Iravati Karve. At present, even today, the comparative method in anthropology occupies a major place in anthropological research. With the rapid change in society, the comparative method is earning new methodological dimensions. The comparative method is not the most popular research method in anthropology. In today's context, it is not merely a generalized study either. It has many dimensions in it, which anthropologists apply accordingly. Comparative method can sometimes reveal very important findings. The matter of concern that could be of utmost importance is that comparison should be unbiased and justified. The main criticism that this method faces is that it compares primitive societies with the so called civilized, advanced societies, and the result seems to be much generalized. It leads to the publication of biased analysis. Some societies are termed uncivilized in context of the other, which ironically are studied by the people of these advanced societies. Not only in the field of social anthropologies, but also in the field of archaeological and physical anthropology, there is the use of comparative method. In the field of population genetics, anthropologists compare the gene frequencies so as to find out the populations variations. Such studies cannot be done in one population, so comparison becomes very important. Likewise, in the field of archaeological anthropologies, two different past cultures need to be compared to find out the chronological relevance of the both. So comparison becomes quite pertinent here as well. However, criticism can be sided apart by conducting an unbiased and scientific comparative study of the societies, and it can reveal some very important anthropological findings. Thus, comparative method has its own relevance in today's context as well.